Yeah, my name's Jonathan Cain. I'm the keyboardist from Journey.
Long time ago you've been here, isn't it?
Yes, I've been since 1981.
Ooh, how many years? More than 20 years? 25?
Yeah, 25 years, yeah. I was with the Babies before that. For those of you fans that remember the Babies in the 70s with John Waite. And
he played too today.
Yeah, John Waite played today. Was he by himself or?
With a band.
Oh, with a band. Okay, yeah, because he was touring acoustically in the States.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
But he was very tired after the gig, so he wanted to leave the site as soon as possible, I heard.
That's very John Waite right there. Yeah,
yeah, really?
That's pretty much status quo, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he doesn't want to...
He wants to hang around.
He's not big for chit-chat, no, especially after a gig.
So he's directly going to the bus and then chilling out.
Who knows what the schedule is, you know? I mean, sometimes their schedules are pretty tough. You gotta... We came, you know, luckily we have a beautiful bus so we can sleep on this thing, you know?
Yeah?
Yeah, sometimes it's not this nice. So we're very fortunate this time to have the state-of-the-art bus, you know, where we sleep away from the wheels. They're upstairs, you know, the bunks. So everyone slept very well this whole tour, which is, you know, like, it's gold. Once you get behind in your sleep and you can't sleep, it's pretty much downhill. You can't stop the skidding, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, so somewhere you have to get a day off and sleep, you know.
Yeah.
And your voice too, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
It trashes everything, yeah.
Because also this, how do you call it, this, the wind we feel now.
Well, yeah, you have dust out here, you know, when you're playing outside, the wind and blows down your throat, and for singers it's very difficult, and the heat and stuff, so.
I've done it already after one day mostly in the festival.
You know, yeah, and it's hard to do like 3-4 of these in a week, which a lot of these bands are doing, and you know, it takes its toll. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, right on the road again with the band?
Yeah.
Does it feel good?
It feels great. This is one of our like goals when we started out back in '98, and we had our first successful tour. One of the things that came up was, well, what about Europe, you know? And first we had to, of course, establish ourselves again in the States.
Because you haven't done in 10 years something, isn't it? 86 till 96?
Yeah, well, 87 we quit, and then we did a 96 album with Perry, and then the band disbanded, you know. So
why was that, if I may ask?
You know, Steve had health issues, very serious health issues at the time that he had to address. And there were good days and bad days with those health issues, and that's the best way I can explain it. So he couldn't count on his body to
tour.
Yeah, to tour, you know, yeah, because it takes, you know, you have to be in shape, and you know so he didn't want to risk it, and he had done a solo tour before that and had trouble with his health. So I think he had gotten the signs, you know, from above. Maybe it's time to, you know,
to quit.
So you know, we waited for 2 years. And we asked him to make a studio album again with us, Neil and I. Neil came knocking on my door 2 years later. Hey, you know, I want to do Journey again. I said, well, what about Steve? It was, you know, a delicate situation and emotional, and a lot of things were tied to it. So he said to me, you know, let's call Steve. And so we spoke to him a couple times, and he declined to work with us. He didn't want to come and try anything, you know. So Neil, being kind of impatient, you know, not impatient, but, you know, he wanted to move on.
Yeah, exactly. And how did it went? Like, did you do auditions?
Yeah, you know, we had some auditions. We started talking about guys, but we knew Steve was around. We just didn't know how to get hold of him, and we got his number from a guitar technician friend of Neil's. And so we called him. He thought we were pulling his leg. He was working for the Gap, you know, as an engineer. A maintenance engineer, doing sheetrock and electrical and everything else.
Yeah.
And he was shape with his voice, and so he came and sang some songs for us, and we were impressed. You know, we thought, hey, this guy could possibly do it, and so you know, we went about the task of putting the band back together, and it was scary because, you know, Dean signed on, and now we've got two guys that, you know, are relying on us for their livelihood, so we had to work. And once we got up and running, we haven't stopped since. You know, we've toured almost every summer, I think.
Every year since 1998.
2000 we took off to do the album. We did the Arrival album. But last year we did the Generations album in the spring and went on tour. So, you know, we wrote a lot on the road for the last couple of years. It's good to take a couple of years to write, and I think, you know, you get the nice nice songs that happened. So, you know, it was fun. But it's good to be, you know, getting back to Europe. You know, we wanted to come in '82, and Steve declined. He didn't want to come. You know, he was worried about the bomb scares and all this stuff. You know,
in that time.
Yeah, at the time it was kind of a politically charged place. So he said, you know, they don't like Americans over there, and just anti-American sentiment he was worried about. So, but I said to him, I said, music is the great equalizer. It's the great healer. I said, our music is what they need right now.
Exactly, and also when the World Trade Center collapsed, lots of bands from America didn't want to come to Europe, and some bands really did because they knew that we needed it.
Yes, you know, so we had our chance, and you know, for those fans that wonder why it took so long, that was one of the reasons. And then the door was closed. Sony said, well, those guys don't want to work here, forget it. We're not going to work their product. But I see that they sold some albums, you know, while we were gone. And they still did their job, probably not as well as if we would have come.
Of course. Yeah.
We were offered two tours. We were offered for the Frontiers tour by probably '84 maybe. And again, Steve said no. At the time, they were important, you know, to solidify the world for Journey. So the world was left, you know, we did Japan and Canada and U.S., and that's it.
Safe.
Safe, yeah. Not even in South America. And then, you know, Steve worked. He didn't want to work so hard. Last tour, we only did 40 shows. That's it. No more. 40, boom, done. So...
Yeah, and it sounds a bit selfish because you have also a job with it.
Well, yes, but you know, he had his fears and his feelings, and you know, he's a singer, and what are you going to do? You got to just stay with that, you know, and say, okay, I understand, and bite your tongue. And I was a new guy, you know, I was just happy to be in a band and have a job and, you know, be working. So it was good from that standpoint, you know, and with Steve, we knew that we were doing 60 shows, 70 shows a year. And we thought, well, you know, it's holding up. We can do this. So, you know, Clear Channel, I think, coming over here with Live Nation maybe has made a difference because the climate is right. You know, the heavy metal was a big thing here. It was a lot of metal, you know, not geared towards bands like us that sort of are rock, pop acts, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe that's kind of died down a little bit, and songs are come to the forefront, more important. And I think Journey is a band about songs, as well as, you know, we have melody and we play with power and finesse. But
completely own style.
Yeah, we're synchronized, pretty tight band, you know. So it's not a lot of slop, you know, and we don't play sloppy. We don't dress sloppy. You want to look like you're successful. And
exactly. Yeah.
At this stage of the game, that's our MO. So we're very, very happy. So coming here has really fulfilled a goal, one of the big goals for us. And
it must be after 20 years, 25 years.
Yeah.
I'm 31. You know, 6 when you last time were you?
You know, and I was signing autographs, you know, in Sweden last night, and they don't take so long when you come back, and you know, fans making the comments like it was worth the wait, and so you're getting a lot of love from the audience. We opened up in Scotland. It was outstanding there.
You opened up there?
Yes, and England was great. So Germany was awesome. We really have felt a connection, and maybe, you know, like there's a future for us in Europe. And I guess that's the big question, is there a future? And now the promoters are saying, now we want him back, UK tour and all this stuff.
I just heard from your manager, like, yeah, we're busy working on new shows here. So
so we're going to try to come back in the spring maybe, and really concentrate on Europe and try to do it the justice. But you have to start somewhere, and this is our starting place.
Yeah.
Right here.
Great. If you think like my main coolest thing I've ever experienced with this band, what would it be?
I guess getting a 10 million seller, being in the room with for the Diamond Award. It was a magical afternoon that took place maybe 8 years ago, and 7 years ago. We had been invited to the Diamond Awards, where you receive a crystal statue for excellence, and everybody under the sun was there that afternoon. I mean, they were all at the Roseland Theater in New York. We drank coffee. It was funny.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Page was there, Def Leppard, AC/DC, Metallica, Boston, Kenny G.
All the old bands, huh?
Kenny Rogers.
Oh, really?
But so it was a mixed bag, Boys to Men, all these crazy acts, and rockers as well as, pop stars. Elton John shows up at the end. And that afternoon, it was magical because, we all stood around and talked, and James Hetfield was my neighbor at the time, and it was like the one thing that we all agreed was that we all probably had made bad albums over the years, but the record companies had stood by us, through those times, when
That's
maybe
cool.
we made albums that weren't so good. And we all could say that was true.
That must be in the time of Reload and Load record of Metallica.
Yeah. And
He was your neighbor?
Yeah, he lived right. We used to go out to dinner and stuff. He moved away, but he's a good guy.
Yeah.
And we, could have been more opposites, but there we were all together. And that was pretty special a day to be in company and stand there with Jimmy Page and, these guys and say, wow, pretty nice
cool.
to have arrived with your music, And so the song they played that day was Open Arms, out of all the songs, So I felt, I had something to do with that.
Exactly, yeah, because you don't do it for just for fun. You want to achieve something, isn't it, in your life?
You do want to achieve
because
something.
you choose for it as a job. So.
Yeah, and then 10 million, I've got some awards for songwriters awards in my house. Open Arms has been played over 3 million times.
Wow.
Don't Stop Believin', and Who's Crying Now, over 3 million spins from BMI, which, is mind-boggling to me, but, keeps me going.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I still write. I just finished a solo album that's coming out in this summer called Where I Live, and it's acoustic, introspective songwriter record. So
you did it all. You wrote everything.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and
cool.
I sort of do this just to blow off some steam as a writer, and it's a different departure style-wise from Journey. So I got inspired from the last tour and finished up some good stuff. So, it keeps me going, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Hopefully, next summer we'll begin writing the new one.
For the band or for yourself?
For Journey.
For Journey, all right.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Because Generations.
Just got a few more minutes.
All right, yeah. The Generation album, you play some songs, of course, of it.
Yes, we're going to play one song tonight. We have a very short set tonight.
Oh, really? Why?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
Status Quo is going to play.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so they've got the long set tonight. So we have to cut our set short, unfortunately. But we're going to play a song from the old days, a song from 1975.
The first album.
Yeah, Mystery Mountain. So there's old and the new song there, and so it's cool. But we don't really know what the fans love here yet. I thought to myself,
every country is different.
Yeah, every country, and it would be interesting to get some feedback from the different countries and say, okay, next time we come over, what do you want to hear?
Exactly, just ask it.
And because we have a set list of 60 songs, and if we knew what they wanted, we play everything. Last year we played for 3 hours. We played 2 sets. We played everything from 75 to 79, the first set, 1 hour, and then we came back and played all the 80s and stuff the second set. So we were our own an evening with Journey, but 3 hours of Journey. And I sang the Greg Rowley things. And Dean, of course, can sing all the Steve Perry, all the old stuff. So he sang a lot of that, and we had a great time. So we even played Cahutek, the old fusion, Journey.
Yeah.
So,
that's cool.
And some people came and didn't want their money back, they would.
Really?
Yeah, what's this? Well, we went on early, and so they came in, and we were trying to celebrate the 30 years and give the people a taste of what Journey was about in the old days.
And the real fans really liked that.
And the real fans really liked it, yeah, and they loved hearing the old things. So I know we have some fans that have been fans forever, and it's just hard when you play. They just don't. Some of them don't know what you're doing, So you have to say, "Hey, 1975, you remember?"
Yeah, great, man.
Yeah,
cool. So we have to quit, unfortunately. But I want to thank you very, very much.
Well, I appreciate it, Peter. Thanks very much. It's good to be back here, and like I said, we're hoping to come back and
in the spring, huh?
Yeah, maybe that's what the promoter says. And right now it's Def Leppard and Journey in the States, till September.
Cool.
Yes, a big tour. So those people that didn't get to see us here, if they want to come and look at journeymusic.com, it's going to be a Clear Channel event, Live Nation, and we're playing all across the country till September, I think.
All right, cool. Thank you very much.
All
man.
right, thank you.
Great.